today we will be talking about, basically I didn't want to go to the research of ours and all those because that is very focused area. So we have been socializing the concept of, on behalf of the University of Johannesburg, of Industry 4.0. Now, whenever we do talk about the Industry 4.0, the question that comes from all the sections, whether South Africa is ready for it. Should South Africa go for it? When there is such a huge difference between the rich and the poor, how will Fourth Industrial Revolution affect this divide? Will the poor benefit? These are the questions that we are facing on a regular basis. So that is why, so I thought that as most of us live in a city, so why not see it from the perspective of a city, that whether it affects the marginalized, financially marginalized and things like that. Now the outline of the presentation, basically first we need to have a brief overview, a very fast brief overview of the previous industrial revolution. How did it affect us? If we don't take part in the fourth industrial revolution, then what will happen to us? Then why fourth industrial revolution? Then from the city perspective, we will touch on a few points. Smart homes and housing, waste management, health sector, water management, transport. Then the most talked about, jobs. Then we will talk about what we can do and what we are doing as UJ. And then we will conclude. Now, this is a very common, and it has become popular because of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, because WEF means two different things. One is World Economic Forum and one is Water, Energy and Food Nexus. So these are very, very two important things. So let us skip this. Now this is the first industrial revolution. Steam engine, steam powered, but it is not the engine or the steam powered thing that is important. Look at the dress of the people over there. That is important. It is an English dress. It is in UK. We didn't take part in it. Now what, we didn't take part, but we have steam engines. What is the problem? There is no problem, isn't it? The problem is, after steam engine was invented and was running in England, it took 60 years to come to Durban. That is the problem. When the inventors thought that I can gain money by bringing it to Durban, then only it came in. It is not that when we wanted it. Yeah. Now again, there is another thing that happened with this. After this one, there was a huge protest. And most of you will know that it was the Luddite protest, led by Ned Luddite. They were burning down mills, the weaving mills. Now the question is, because there was job loss, a huge amount of job loss, because now it is steam-powered weaving mills. Jobs have gone. Now the question is, today we have about 7 billion people. Do you think that with a handloom we could have provided dress to these 7 billion people? We could not have. Next comes the second industrial revolution. Electrical energy, motors came in, the second industrial Ford. This revolution also, similarly, has seen a huge amount of protest. Ford's factory was required to be guarded by police to do the production. So this is what has happened already. Now this one, the 1947 transistors were invented, automation came in, computers came in. Most of us have seen this. Most of us have not even heard about computers when we were in schools. In grade 1, grade 2, we have never heard about computers. But when we were in grade 9, 10, we suddenly started hearing about computers. Then computers came in. So, because the thing that is to be seen, that when we were in grade 1 or 2, that time we didn't have a software programmer. Because computers were not there. But when once in late 1970s, 80s, computers become popular, all these things were coming up, were becoming popular. Now this is what some people say is the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution. IoT, big data, cloud computing, 3D printing. This is, and it is not limited to this. This is, people have made it that these are the things. Now the question is, why did it suddenly come? What invention? Because Newton was there in the first industrial revolution. The transistor Shockley was there in the third industrial revolution. Electricity, Ampere's law was there in the second industrial revolution. What happened over here? No Nobel Prize led to this revolution. No, this is very sure. There was no Nobel Prize that was in the last 10-15 years that has led to this revolution. So why did this revolution come in? Basically, there was a study done in 2015 by Oros. Now, in this study, it says in 2015, the data of the world that was there in 2015, 90% was generated in 2013 and 14. So the data of the world in 2015 was growing at the rate of 40% per year. So this is a huge amount of data. Every time we take a selfie, that is a data. That is what Facebook is using to direct advertisements to me. The moment I was in Cape Town, Facebook has said that I should visit the sea point. How? Because that is data. Google is saying that you go, why don't you visit Table Mountain? Because that is data. See, so that is what has happened. But but data was growing. So what was the problem? That is what the Prof from Botswana was saying. That recently, in the last 5 years or 7 years, data lakes came in. Now, with data lakes coming in, the cost of processing data has become much cheaper. Before we could have processed, because most of the algorithms that we use currently are already 40 years old, 50 years old. None of them, means if you say artificial intelligence also, let us say clustering, let us say classification, let us say regression, all these are 50, 60, 70 years old. Regression is even more. Let us say artificial intelligence, artificial neural network. Artificial neural network is already 40 years, 50 years old. So deep learning, when we talk about deep learning has become popular, but it was already existing. But we could not use it. That is the problem, because our computational capability was very, very less. That is the only problem. And we could have used it, but the investment would be huge. So that is why it came in. Now there is a study again that which says that $180 billion in 2015 on big data skills itself. So the same study says this one. So this is why the fourth industrial revolution came in, means to a certain extent. Now this is, before I go to the other things, this is Winston Churchill saying in some 60 years back, study history, study history. But if he was today, he wouldn't have said this one. In the era of fourth industrial revolution, no need to study history. You study data. Go on studying historical data. Because you can understand, because to know the statecraft even, now it is being told that the Russia and US elections, it is nothing based on data. So you can, to a certain extent, swing to one side, the full population even. Now let us come to the smart city perspective. Now this is smart city is basically a concept of industry 3.0 to a certain extent, but maybe now we should call it an intelligent city. So now, is this city the full thing, that smartness where sensors are there, where everything is there? You talk about smart agriculture, you talk about precision agriculture, you talk about smart government. Is this only for the elite? So we will see whether it is or whether it is not. Now again, smartness is a matter of perspective. Because see, most of the things could have been developed in the West and we could have bought it. What we have been doing to a certain extent. But the problem is, the West will generate this one. The West will never ever invent this one. Because they don't need it. It is we who will have to do it. So in the fourth industrial revolution also, it is the same thing. What we need, we will have to do, or else we will have to buy an app which we may not need even. Now, smart homes, let us come. So this is basically the homes, let us say 100 years back, and this is the home of today, very well lit. Now smart homes, what do you mean by smart homes? Where everything will be, where everything. For example, now we can do image processing on the camera, image, and we can do emotion processing also and say, the person who is at my door has come to kill me or not. That is nothing huge. That is nothing, because your facial expression says. What is the, because as of now, if you see the progression, how did the progression happen? First it was knocking at the door. A limited area. Then came the calling bell. A bit more area. So you are, if you are at the other end of the house, then also you can. Then came just a camera, just to see that who is there. If it is my known person, I am okay to go and open it. If not, I will not open it. But what do I do with the image? After seeing, is it me who will process it? Or is it the machine who should process it and say me that what is he thinking? Or at least from his facial expression, at least I should get to know in what mood he is. And that will allow me to take an informed decision. And this is nothing very huge. This is nothing very huge. But these are all for the rich people. Isn't it? You cannot think someone in Google to having this. You cannot. But you can think someone in Google to having this. This is a low-cost house given by the 4th Industrial Revolution, costing about 50,000 rands, built in 24 hours, using minimum water, built by a 3D printer. So, basically, if with 50,000 rands, if you can 3D print a house, then the housing problem will be something of the past. Because now we spend around about 400,000 to 450,000 per RDP house. So these are certain things that we need to come up with. Now waste management. Now waste management is a huge thing. We always complain that whenever we see, I don't know in Cape Town, because I am not a very frequent visitor to Cape Town, but in Johannesburg, there are people who are pulling the trolleys. And everyone complains about them. So let us see what can be done. Now waste management, this is the Johannesburg waste management. This is how we manage. Everything we take and we then dump it in the landfill, or then we don't even burn it to a certain extent and convert it into electricity. So one of the things that, this is a data. Basically, you will not be able to see it, but it says that South Africa is generating about 52,000 tons of waste per day. One of the ways to reduce it is to ask people to reduce the waste. But South African people are very good. Their per capita waste generation is only 2 kilos. So we cannot reduce more, because we are already at number 38, I think, in the world. So our people are generating very less. Yeah. So now again, this is a projection of 2025 given by World Bank, that we will be generating 72,000 in 2025. But this projection is totally wrong. Now this is why you should understand. I will show you. World Bank projects that in 2025 we will have a total population of 52 million. This is 2016 data. Now if you prepare yourself according to these data, we ourselves are more than 52 million right now. If I prepare myself for 72,000 tons per day, in 2025 I will be landing up at 125,000. Where will this extra 50,000, what will I do? So that is why the study needs to be done by ourselves, not by external agencies. External agencies are fine. I am not saying don't go. Because this is a copy-pasted thing from World Bank website. I am not saying it. Now, So this is what you already know, that there is Durban is doing it, the Westville and the dumping and from the landfill, converting it into electricity. So this is basically an industry 3.0 kind of thing. Now another thing is that recycling. Recycling, basically the world recycles only 1% of its waste. Now why is recycling not popular? The reason is that we force people to recycle. That will never work. This is what our recycle way is. Do you think that anyone will take a tin, go in front of 7 dustbins and read which one is a tin and drop it? No one will do. This needs to be automated. If it is not automated, then we will not be able to recycle. Otherwise, what will happen is that this is the recycling. In most developing countries, this is how things are recycled. In most developing countries, this is a photo from Johannesburg, but in most, not only in South Africa, in most developing countries, this is how. Is it a human condition to work? So what is the alternative? The fourth industrial revolution gives the alternative. That is, you use image processing, or you can do other clustering algorithms based on sound or anything, any of the parameters, and then let the machine do it. So that is the way to go forward. And people are doing it. It's not that. So that person who is scavenging can be used for some better activity. Now health sector. Health sector is a very important sector. Yeah, because for any city, health is a very, very important. Now this is a very common thing. Not so much in South Africa, but in other developing countries. This is a very common thing, isn't it? That an ambulance is in between traffic. The second industrial revolution gave a solution. And this was the solution. But not for the poor. It is for the rich. Isn't it? But what about the poor? The fourth industrial revolution is giving. Why can't? It is not a very difficult technology. Is it a very difficult technology that the emergency vehicle talking to the robot, and the robot goes green because we have GPS, isn't it? We can communicate via any means, be it Zigbee, be it Wi-Fi. So that when the emergency vehicle comes, it communicates with the robot goes green, makes a green channel, the emergency vehicle goes. And then once it goes back to its original state. Is it a very big thing? No. These are small innovations that needs to be done. This can be done at university level, at college level. And people can come up with prototypes, which can be rolled out later on a large scale. Now in health sector, this is what we always see. Now this is what intrigues me. Basically, once you go to a hospital, this is what is given to you. Fill your dad's name, fill whether your dad had a heart attack, fill in whether your dad had a... No, there is nothing wrong in it. But my question is, does the doctor go through all these features that I have filled in and make an informed decision while prescribing a medicine? If the doctor has not done that, then why do I fill in? For example, means it is right that the doctor does not have the time to do that. With so many features, it is not possible for a doctor to come up with a solution. Because, see, I'll give you a very interesting example. For example, when we go to take a bond from a bank, one feature, very good. That is, let us say 2 banks I went to, one bank says it is 8.5% interest, one bank says it is 9.5% interest. Very good. I go to the 8.5%. Let us add another feature. For repayment, means if I prepay it, one bank says I will charge you a fine, another bank says I will not charge you a fine. Then it becomes a problem for me. That which bank should I go to? So as the number of features goes on increasing, it becomes a problem for us to analyze the so many features and come up with on pen and paper it is easy to analyze. But on the fly to analyze so many features. For example, another example, on what basis do we take our medical aid? We take our medical aid, I don't know about you, but me, I take my medical aid based on my salary and the advisor who is sitting over there. He says, your salary, you can take this one. But if I am the most healthy person in the world, who is jogging for 5 kilometers every day in the morning, not smoking, not drinking, why should I go for the highest medical aid? So the number of features, when it goes on increasing, it becomes very difficult for people, means general human being, to analyze and come to an informed conclusion. That is where we should give our thing to the machines. But the algorithm will be ours.